Welcome to the Funcast. Pulse of the Heartland. We're back. We had a little hiatus. Good to be back. It just feels right.
Mild. The crowd goes mild there.
That was pretty mild. But
I gave a fist pump. Is that
Oh yeah,
worth it?
That was Jersey Shore-esque fist pumping. Thank you, Ryan. Yeah. Good to be back. Monday night, it just feels right to be here with you guys and doing this again. Now that we have something to talk about, the NFL draft is coming up. We'll preview that. We got some movie minute. We're going to do a top three, some big old bust NFL draft coming up. So we'll hit those. Let's see. Who wants to hit them with the socials? Because Joey's not here. The tier, it's sad.
The one tier. And right now, don't hold your breath. That's I guess that's the other thing. I'll do it. Instagram, Twitter, Twitch at Heartland Pulse, and then Facebook, YouTube, Pulse the Heartland. Like, subscribe, do anything, everything, please, for the love of God.
Share.
Good work, Brian. Good work.
Put us on repeat. Tell your friends. Play it on every device you got.
If you're out golfing, it's golf season now. Play it on your phone while you're golfing. Make sure the rest of your foursome can hear it.
There you go.
Or if you have a big boom box,
make them all put it on.
Yeah,
even better.
Or if you have a big boom box, everybody can hear it.
Hey, and you know what? You can put it on 3 times speed. We don't care.
Yeah.
Spotify actually has 3.5 speed. Just
Not that Bryant knows that. He heard. Well, Bryant, what are you drinking up there out of your fancy new Chiefs mug?
Water.
Nice.
Lame.
Just water. All right. Well,
my Mondays aren't bad enough where I need to be drinking alcohol, so I guess that's a good thing in life in general, But bad for recording. I haven't had any new beers since Nam.
Yeah, think of the fans, Bryant. You're letting them down.
Yeah,
I really miss all the fun cans you would find.
Yeah.
The worst part was when we were doing that bit. We did it all when it was recorded, and then the first time we got a camera, I was like, nah, not anymore.
You could have been lying the whole time.
I feel like the verbal descriptions were always so on point, though.
Yeah.
It'd be like, here's the bored ape in space holding a banana, and then I'm just like, yeah, Coors Light now. That's it.
But Brian says the mountains are blue now.
Yeah. Brian says it's a bored ape in space while eating a banana, and he takes a drink of his water. He's just making this shit up.
There's the truth of it. I think
this can's so insane. You should see it. That's it.
Well, I saw you drinking something, Clark. What do you got?
I got me like a double, triple. I don't know. This is a pretty big glass. It's one of those old Templeton bottles.
Nope.
Old fashioned.
Nice. What kind of bourbon you got in there?
I got some Elijah Craig rye.
Oh, you got the rye. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What about you, Trent?
Well, I'm actually found Cutwater.
Ooh.
I'd never found it. I found it today. Yeah, I got the Whiskey Mule.
Oh, those are awesome.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Were you like dreaming of the golf course or something? And you decided to get you some Cutwaters and a little refreshment?
Dreaming of the golf course. We've been playing on the golf course.
Oh,
I've got a tournament this Saturday.
Hey, me too.
Nice.
Yep. Ryan, what are you sipping on?
I got something from Sioux Falls here, the Remedy Pina Colada.
Oh, I haven't seen that in any stores yet, but as soon as I see it, I'm gonna pick some up.
They're pretty good. They're solid.
Yeah, Remedy's sours are on point.
Yeah,
as the kids would say.
Okay, what's really funny is apparently there's a thing people say something slaps if it's really good.
Yeah,
had no clue. So Beck and I were trying to look at. She was looking up videos for hash browns in the air fryer, and the guy starts out with, "These are hash browns that absolutely slap."
I hear that on TikTok all the time on any recipe.
What the fuck?
And also, you've all been cooking your chicken wrong. You should all be using chicken thighs. That's the thing that
Yeah.
I think they just want me to start using a lower quality of meat to like prep for something. I don't know, but yeah.
Well, what else would you use besides chicken thigh?
Chicken breast.
Do you
Oh,
want
see,
it
chicken
all
breast is all white
dry?
meat.
Yeah,
White meat.
yeah.
You want that dark meat? Get you them thighs. They're more moist, buddy.
Yeah.
There's that elitist attitude. I don't know. I can't afford the thighs.
I thought the thighs were cheaper.
I'm with Bryant on going with breast, and we're the ones that don't have reverse osmosis water. So,
Oh,
Yeah.
Clark and I, with the reverse osmosis, eating the finer cut of poultry. Okay.
Yep. Now, if one of us changes to how we do our water, we might change to thigh meat too.
I did get my cherries at Walmart in this thing, so
You didn't go with a $30 jar? Come on, Clark.
You gotta go with the $30
no.
jar.
You know, I feel like Bryant's holding out on us because he sent a picture of a beverage, I believe, either yesterday or earlier today. I can't remember. Something Sunny D.
That was me.
That was Trent.
Oh, that was you. Ah, geez. Okay, that was Trent. Never mind.
I did find this.
Those things slap too. I tell you,
they do slap. If I'm gonna say anything slaps, it's the Sunny D vodka seltzer.
How many alloys are you going to give that?
Ooh, what was the scale of 5?
5 out of 5. Easily.
5. Then yes.
5 was the
tastes just
worst.
like-
If it's a 1 alloy, it's like, or it's a 0 alloy, it's not even close to Steel Reserve alloys. Therefore, it's awesome. Is that how the rating goes?
That's a good point, actually.
Those things are going to be extremely dangerous come summertime.
Yeah.
Is it worth getting like a 6-pack to try them out?
Yes.
I think they come in 4 packs.
Okay, even better.
I was hoping I could buy it in a briefcase or 30 case or something like that.
You won't be disappointed.
All right. Like I feel like any 4-pack I even get now, I drink 2 of them. And it's the tall beers. I never get through them anymore. So,
do you like regular Sunny Delight?
I'm not 8, so I can't remember. But
okay, now apparently I'm the poorest because I still drink Sunny Delight.
Brian, you're a bachelor. You're telling me you haven't bought any Sunny Delight? Come on, man.
I'm pretty lame here. I apologize.
Man. Yep, they are very good. So go out and get some.
All right. And that was our sponsor for the episode.
Yep.
Sunny Delight Alcohol.
Sunny Delight vodka seltzers.
Oh, vodka seltzer. Oh,
and to piss off some people, vodka seltzies.
Seltzies. The mixies.
Seltzies and mixies.
Do not bring mixies back, please, for the love of God.
Is an old fashioned a mixie? I mean,
it's a mixie.
No,
it's a mixie.
I wouldn't say it is.
Do you mix stuff?
No, that's a crafted drink.
It's a cocktail.
Not a mixie. I'm not just dumping Coke and Jack and mixing them up.
So we usually do it like a
size would say.
We usually do a Hamilton bet for whoever loses a bet, $10, right? I think the next bet needs to be you go out in public. It's an honor system thing, but next time you go out in public, go, I need to order a mixie, and you say that in all serious face to the waiter and see what look he gives you.
Oh, I'll do it.
I know you will.
Don't think I won't.
We need Katrina to video this for video proof.
Yeah.
If I come back for that tournament next month, we'll get some mixies.
Oh, yeah. We'll get some
go.
mixies. Well, do we want to let's do the movie minute first, and then we'll hit our top 3 because it has to do with the draft here. So
sure.
Yeah, Barry Mandalo. Let's hear about it.
You want to start with Mando or Barry?
Are you and I the only ones that watch Barry?
Yeah, I think so. Let's do Mando. Let's start with Mando first.
Go. I think you're the one that didn't text how they felt about it, Bryant. So go ahead and start.
Sure. Yeah, I would say. Well, I mean, we got to the last. I mean, it's been a minute, so probably the last 3 or 4 episodes. But I would say, pretty solid ending to it, bringing back Moff Gideon and the whole, I guess, return to Mandalore, the fight, and then what was the first one called? The spies, and then the final episode, the return, is what it was. I think. Honestly, I really enjoyed it. I forgot to text back on that actually, but they've gotten really good at really nailing these finales, not only for like Kenobi, but I mean, I think kind of Disney in general, Marvel, usually, even if the series has had a bad like dip in season, they're really starting to do really well with these finales, whether it's fan service or not. I mean, it hit every point that I wanted in the episode.
Yeah, no, I thought it was amazing. I was very happy with the last two episodes. Honestly, if they combined them and made them into a full movie, I would go to the theater and watch it easily. They're wonderful episodes. I texted. I think the finale is probably my favorite Star Wars content that's been out. I just thought it was very solid. I don't know. I loved it. It was a 10 out of 10 for me. Really was. It's a fantastic show.
I did enjoy it. I'm not going to give it a 10 out of 10 because something's going to have to top Rogue One and that Darth Vader ending for me. Like Obi-Wan was pretty close with the Obi-Wan versus Vader battle. Very quality. But I don't feel like I hit any moments that were really like awestruck like that with the Mando finale. I've been watching the Rebel series, which I had never watched before, here recently, and I guess I never realized the Empire had a presence on Mandalore before. So, like, whenever I watch the finale and you have the Mandalorian Imperials or the Imperials in Mandalorian armor, that was like a first for me. So I was kind of taken aback that they're in the Beskar Mandalorian armor garb or whatever you want to say. But I want to say, just watching like season 3 of Rebels, like that had happened before. So I'm kind of curious. I was talking to somebody else about this, like kind of tying things together. We have the Ahsoka series coming out, and felt like there was an opportunity to kind of leave some open ends. I like that they tied everything up, buttoned it all up, left it. It was sweet. If they wanted to just park Mando on a shelf and be like, that was the Mando series, we're done. Like, it's finished. It's great. It's wonderful. If they want to come into season 4, which I think they're going to,
it's already wrote.
Filoni said he's already written it.
Yeah, so they can open it up with a whole new, intro, new problem, big, go do whatever. Like, there's not an overlying arc that you have to move to because they buttoned it all up. It's perfect.
Yeah,
like
I think that was the main goal. It felt like, because like at the end they couldn't have spelled it out better. Yeah, we're going to go on solo adventures when we want to do it. It's just like, oh, so you're just, like you said, it's going to go back to season 1 of the mini, maybe a 2 or 3 episode arch, but otherwise it's going to be very small adventures.
Yeah. I'm say a coworker, he was really hoping to see Admiral Thrawn make an appearance and like to introduce these new kind of big story arcs. But it's like, I hate it when series do that, whenever they leave you on the cliff and you gotta wait a year or 2 years to see the next one. Like,
I kind of expected it to be a end credit scene.
Yeah.
But Ahsoka, what is it? Ahsoka, whatever. That's
Ahsoka.
Coming out in August, so that would be a connection to that.
Have either of you watched Clone Wars? Ahsoka was Anakin Skywalker's Padawan apprentice, whatever you want to call it. So there's a lot of tie-in with her and Anakin before he became Darth Vader. So it's going to be probably amazing. She cut herself off from the Jedi. She's kind of her own rogue person in the middle type thing. So
she's the rogue one?
No.
Oh, dang it.
She does work with the rebels, kind of leading into that where she's at now. So she's worked with them before. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of potential there, especially watching the Rebels series and seeing what's happened and what all's become. That there's a lot of opportunities. Admiral Thrawn's a huge kind of villain point that I don't think we've seen in any of these live action type shows yet. That as long as they can make him blue with his red eyes, he'll be fine. They got to make him look right.
Who's the bounty hunter from Boba Fett that everyone was hoping they'd keep around forever and then they killed after 10 minutes?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember his name.
Gosh. Was it Glup Shido? Was that his name?
No, it was not Glub Shido.
That's my favorite. Like we admit we're all Star Wars and Marvel nerds, but my favorite like meme is just like it's like people making fun of the whole cult, and they're just like I absolutely hate when you're watching a movie and it shows this character for half a second in the background, and all the Star Wars nerds go, "Look, it's Glub Shido," and then it's just like you said, it's that little tease, like they marvel, they tease it in the very last second, and then there's just no payoff until the next show or movie or anything.
Cad Bane.
Cad Bane.
There you go.
Glub Shido is way cooler. From somebody who's never seen any Star Wars things ever. Yeah,
there were a couple things that weren't, the continuity was off on it, but I was still able to overlook them. Like the jetpacks don't have enough fuel to chase after the dino bird things, but they did have enough fuel for that last fight.
For this non-stop battle in midair.
Yeah.
You mean there's enough air to just get out of the stratosphere to their ship? A little discrepancy there. He fueled up. He put in unleaded and not super unleaded in that jetpack.
Yeah. So I mean, there were a couple of continuity things that just didn't make any sense, but for the most part, the action was awesome. The fighting was awesome. Din Grogu's he's really growing up a bit, and that's the scene where he's keeping the fire from them. That was awesome. I just loved it.
Yeah. Now, someone pointed out he only has used the Force ever for defensive, either evade or avoid attacking. So it's just like, okay, that's supposed to be the significance. He's going to be the one to bring him in because even he broke up the Mandalorians fighting on the ship that one time, So yep. I don't know. I agree that the only things I would probably comment on, it was just one, I just always think it's funny how in that final episode where they're just beating the shit out of Din, right? In Mando. And then he just runs out in that fucking robot. So he's like, no. And they're like, okay, we're going to beat the fuck out of your kid now. And then just run off. And he's like, oh shit. Just speeds off here. The only other thing that I thought was really cool, and it was pointed out to me, they've only ever done it at the very end. I thought it was like really cartoony and weird that at the end of the episode they did the circular what do you want to call it? I don't know what you want to call it, like the closing where it circles in and it's just on those two at the end. They've only ever done that at the end of the first episodes of the trilogies. The episode 4, episode 1, and then Mando, which I guess if you want to say it's the end of the beginning, that's where, Ryan, when you're talking like they can move on, or I'm sorry, Clark, I might with you, but they can potentially move on from Mando. That might have been the signal. Hey, we're at the end of this story.
That's a very astute observation there, Bryant. And
I didn't make it. I saw it online. So don't worry.
Well, it kind of comes in cue. It's the end of Moff Gideon, possibly. Like, so hopefully. Yeah, it's a good way to wrap that up.
I mean,
that was it. Thank you. I thought that storyline was rushed, where it's like they cloned him. Mando is just like Control Delete, fucking everything blew up, and then Moff Expedition came out here and goes, everything was perfect except for, and then just explained his whole thing because they had to rush through it. Everything else was great. The fighting and everything else was awesome, but that was just like, oh yeah, remember that story? Tied up. The tanks blew up. His eyes opened one time.
Yeah,
Grogu shit his robot suit. That was it.
It's where, like with The Last of Us 2, it'd be nice if we had more than 8 episodes, because it just seems like there's some things that are rushed when you have a couple filler episodes, like the Lizzo and Jack Black episode. A lot of that was filler. It was a fun episode, but a lot of it was filler.
But Brian, I need to know how Jack Black met Lizzo. Come on, where did this relationship blossom?
That's true. For me, it's like in the grand things, it just doesn't add anything. So give me stuff that adds to it.
So what you're saying, Ryan, is with Mando, we need more damn time in a minute. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do any more Lizzo. We just need more damn time. I agree.
We need the Star Wars Globe Shido Chronicles, and we'll all be in.
we gotta fuck. What is that? What's the laughing guy from Java that was in the first episode that I pointed out? God damn it! I gotta look it up. You guys move on. It's gonna piss me off though.
The laughing guy from Java.
Yeah, Salacious B. Crumb. I remember it.
Sounds
Remember
like
all
a
the
rapper
Salacious
name.
Well, he's not a rapper. He's just a little funny guy from Star Wars.
Sounds like a rapper to me.
The little tree monkey laughing little monkey thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy. Those are all his cousins or something. That was, if I had one complaint about the season, I actually kind of enjoyed the one-off adventure Lizzo one. I kind of enjoyed it because it was just like, you know what, we've had this whole overarching, you know, they had plenty of cameos in that one. But if I had one complaint about this whole season, it was too much. Hey, remember this thing? Remember this thing? Remember this from the original trilogy? It was that. It was the Babu Frick. There's just an army of them now in this village. It was just Nostalgia Town is what they should have named that whatever Carl Weathers is running.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of cameos,
sorry, whatever town Apollo Creed was running, there's a lot of nostalgia there.
Speaking of cameos, Barry had a few cameos, didn't they? This week.
Yeah, that we want to jump into that. Any more, Bando, or
go for it? Hit the berry.
I can't believe you don't watch that, Clark. So to me, for 3 episodes so far this season have been freaking awesome, top tier. The first 2 episodes, the comedy, the humor is coming back this season. It's still super dark, but the comedy's coming back. But it's basically just a bunch of terrible people, and you're rooting for the worst one of all of them. Is how, I mean, really, that's how it is. There's nobody good in this series, but it's fun. But yeah, Barry, I don't know. There's always twists and turns. He's still in prison. Sally's teaching class, and she's terrible. Kuzino is awful. Gene, or not Gene, whatever the black dude's name is. I can't remember his name right now.
Jim Moss.
Yeah, he's terrible. He made a guy switch languages. Went from speaking English to speaking German. So, like I said, it is just a collection of the worst people. And then the end of this episode, the assassination attempt in the prison, that was pretty sweet.
Yeah. That's where one of the appearances with Fred Armisen out of left field, came in. But yeah, this whole season, I think they got away from the humor a little bit last season. Yeah. It got like way too dark, and the only bit I can remember once you mentioned Jim Moss was him going. He got interrogated in Vietnam, and he caused his interrogator to kill himself. And Stephen Root, Fuchs, couldn't get over that fact. Like, Jim just keeps going on with his dialogue. He goes, he had to have had something going on at home. He's like, there's more to it than this guy killed himself. But this season, the humor has definitely gotten back. And
the first cameo this week with Guillermo del Toro.
What's that?
The first cameo this week was Guillermo del Toro.
Okay, I thought that was him, but I could not tell. Because, obviously he's a director, you don't see him too much. The only thing I could remember him from was being Grandpappy Poyle from Always Sunny. And I was just like, I think that's Guillermo del Toro. And I just could not, for the life of me, put it on there. But thank you.
Well, and his name in the show was El Toro. So that kind of gave it away. But just the conversation about the hitmen that they hired, they're podcasters full time, and then they do hitman on the side. So we might figure this out, guys.
We finally figured out a way to make money.
Yeah.
On the side, we have to break people out of jail.
Yes, or kill people in jail, whichever one. But that's probably not an option.
No.
Yeah.
No, I would say I'm getting pretty pumped because we're getting so close to the, they've been building up to Barry's going to get out of jail. Whether they were going to break him out or he's working with the feds. And now he's escaped in this last episode. Sorry, spoilers if you haven't watched it, but I'm assuming you have if you're listening. So, but I would say between that, Fuchs thinks he's going to betray him. So we've got everyone. I mean, would it shock you if everyone was dead by the end of the series?
No. No, not at all.
Dude, like first off, like you said, everyone is kind of a shitty person, so you wouldn't even feel that bad.
Yeah.
But it's
But
I believe there's only 8 episodes this season, right?
It is, but they've all got their redeeming qualities, except for Gene and Sally. They're both terrible. But Barry, there's something about him I like. He's awful. He's the worst one of all of them, but I cheer for him. And then then NoHo Hank, he's hilarious. Like that dude makes me laugh.
He was hilarious, and now turned, like, he's done the Walter White. He's turned now, finally being the serious guy that everyone needs to respect. You know, Barry went from that. Now he's kind of going back to the softer, like he's becoming the NoHo Hank. You know, a little bit softer until he got betrayed. And sorry, I'm just getting over like the whole Gene Cousineau line of like, do not talk to the police or do not talk to anyone, but he has to put on a 3-hour show in order to give the information.
Yeah.
And
then they break.
Yeah, I mean,
they break into the house and the guy just throws the monitor in the pool, not the computer.
Yes. That's classic, like, because I already feel that coming along. That's classic old people. Not they're like, no, it's in the monitor. No, these new ones, it's the hard drive, or is it the server? Like, they're just throwing out any computer words out there, and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah, there is so much humor in this season, and it's great that got brought back. It really is. But I don't know. So far, every episode has been amazing. This series is just so underappreciated. And I know I said it a lot last season, but Bill Hader, that dude deserves every acting award on the planet.
No, he goes hard when he's acting there, dude. Like, and I'm shocked because there's so many. It is amazing how many, like, there's a lot of action actors out there, and I've seen very few that can make it work. Like Tom Cruise and Mark Wahlberg, off the top of my head, are about the only 2 action stars I can think that can really do comedy well. It's amazing how many comedy actors can go from, hey, I'm SNL, I'm making a fart joke, to Barry, you know, and Bill Hader's been one of them. There's it just must be something about how a comedy actor can just convey, like, it's like the facial expressions that he has. You know, he can really contort it well. And I agree. This season's going to be too short. I'm going to be pissed when it's done because they're only 20-minute or 25-minute episodes. Yep. And every one of them has been fucking fantastic.
Bill Hader's best work, the cop in Superbad.
Yep. But it's funny. I mean, you think of him in those kind of roles, and then you watch him in this role, and you're like, "There's no way that's the same dude." Yeah, it's just so far side, other ends of the spectrum. And he's directing every single episode too. And I mean, they're shot so well. Like, everything he's doing right now is top notch. I hope he gets a lot of movie chances.
So since he is like the showrunner, he's making all like the final decisions and stuff. And he made a huge part of that episode 2, I think, or 1, about moving out to Santa Fe in the sand and that whole scene. And like, apparently the story in the writer room is everyone goes, what the fuck does this have to do with the story? And he's like, nothing. I just want to have it in there. And again, that whole scene, you're just like watching it. And it's like, they make the mundane, just normal conversations. They move the plot along enough. And they get enough done where I think it's just so fucking well done. Because you can see people having those awkward interactions if you were in that same situation.
So do you guys have anything else on Barry? So
no, I would say if you guys haven't, get into it because it's going to be over in 5 weeks. I guess you can wait 5 weeks and then just binge the whole thing.
It'll be done.
Yeah, done.
Yeah, it'll be done.
Right. So I guess
same with Succession.
While we're in the movie, do any of you guys watch Yellowstone?
Yes.
No.
I've seen the first 3.
Yeah, you're working there, right?
Okay.
I can hear you.
Yes, we are on season 5 now.
Katrina started watching it, and I know unpopular opinion, but I just don't like it.
Don't you?
Trent.
No.
I can tell you the plot line.
Everybody's all pissed off. There's like way too much shit going on in every episode.
Trent, they're going to take our land. Kill them.
Okay.
All right. Now
you're not wrong.
Kill our land again. Kill them.
I'd rather just watch people walk around like the real Yellowstone. Do stuff.
I just want to show. I just want a show about tourists walking around Yellowstone.
Yeah, getting like way too close to buffaloes and flipped up in the air.
That's some good content right there.
Yeah.
They go, they're trying to steal our land, and the natives go, now you know how we feel, and that's the joke of the whole series.
Yeah, like I don't know. Katrina watches it, like she's on episode like 5 of the first season, and
we enjoy it, but I
into
can definitely see that point of view.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
I think I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Every bitchy alcoholic woman thinks they're Beth, and it's like, no, but it's different, you know. I'm loud and I'm rough. It's like, no, you're just kind of drunk. That's it.
The Dudd's got a lot going on here. None of it's good.
My favorite part of that show is definitely just the music they use.
Whiskey Meyer way into the first few episodes,
like a full episode based around them.
Yeah.
Brian Bingham is one of the actors that'll come.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yep. So Lainey Wilson also, her dump truck comes in at season 5.
Whiskey Meyer going to be in Sioux Falls August 10th.
Dude, that's one I've always wanted to see.
If y'all want to come up, let's go.
Yeah. I saw a clip of Lainey Wilson come up on TikTok, and I thought it was a 35-minute music video. It was actually just on loop every 10 seconds. I didn't realize it.
She's very talented. That's, we can agree on that. Brian doesn't even like country, but he's a big Lainey Wilson fan.
Big country fan now.
What's Beyonce saying that song? If you ain't jump when you put on your jeans, you ain't feel my pain or something. That's Lainey Wilson. That fucking thing. Like, she needs a CDL Class A for that.
Just to walk down the street.
Yeah. In a good way, mind you.
Brian, you could get behind the You could get behind the logistics of that thing.
Hit me up, Lainey. I'll take care.
Is this a good time to move on to our next segment? Big old
bus.
Oh, because we're about to bust. It's busting time, boys. Oh.
Well, NFL draft's coming up here starting Thursday, I believe. First round Thursday, then second and third round Friday, and the rest of the rounds on Saturday. So we've been doing.
Hold on, real quick. Does everyone like the new format, or do they hate it compared to the one long day on Saturday?
I like it,
like it used to be.
Make it an event. People are gonna watch it.
Yeah,
I like it.
I
think they make it easier to watch for sure.
I agree. Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, when you put it that way,
put it in prime time.
Yeah.
I just wish the first 2 rounds were one day. That's my only thing.
I can see that.
I would be if they would have set it up that way. I would have been yes. Let's do that. You get the prime 2 rounds. I kind of like that. It's like you're the main event Thursday. Only the first round guys, 1 through 32, or I guess 31 this year. You're it. Pick number 33. Sorry, you got to wait until Friday. Everyone else gets to booze it up and celebrate.
Plus, then if it was one day, Iowa State could say they have some day 1 picks here recently.
Oh my God, please.
We're not about that.
We'll
We're
get
about
into that.
round 1 picks now, starting Thursday. So, bus, it's every year. Who's going to be the biggest bust of the draft? So we went through and ranked our top 3 favorite busts of all time. How do you want to do this? We'll all just go around snake draft style with number 3, starting number 3.
Sure.
All right. Let me pull up the thing here. Bryant, you're at the top of the list. Who you got on number 3?
I am going to use my time to be hater Bryant instead of Homer Bryant. And this is all anti-Raiders because fuck them. And they're the laughing stock of the league also. So it makes it funny. But number 3, Fabian Washington, cornerback for the Raiders. He was drafted in 2005 with the 23rd pick. I don't even care what he did in his career. Aaron Rodgers was picked next, and he has a ring. So immediate bust, especially when the Raiders have 0 rings. And probably, I don't even know how many winning seasons they have between then. So Fabian Washington.
It's a pretty good one.
Thank you.
for my first big old bust, I'm going with Paige Spernack.
Big old busts.
Jesus Christ.
Actually, my number 3 I have is Matt Leinart, quarterback. He was drafted 2006 by the Arizona Cardinals and never really did anything. He did last in the league for like 7 years, but he was taken as a 10th overall in the draft. So first round, number 10, never did anything. He sat behind Kurt Warner for 4 years. A very aged Kurt Warner down in Arizona.
Hey, he took him to a Super Bowl though. Kurt Warner, American underdog. He had that dog in him.
He had that dog in him.
Who you got, Ryan?
I am going with this is me being interdivisional hater, Ryan. Kevin White in 2015, West Virginia wide receiver, picked 7th because he was going to be the next Randy Moss and just absolutely kill everybody in the NFC North. No one could defend him. And I hate doing that because I didn't mind Kevin White. I just hated Chicago. So poor guy just had injury issues and never really became anything. But Chicago, you guys suck.
Like when you put that name in there, I was like, that's a name I haven't heard of since then.
Yeah, but he was going to be the next big thing to just destroy every team, you know.
You want to know the only time you've heard Kevin White's name is when he's at the bottom ticker and it says Kevin White on IR again.
Yep.
Trying to find his stats here. Oh man.
I'll be honest, Clark, while he's looking up his stats, over under 800 yards.
For his career? Under.
Let's go NFL career. 2016 to 2018.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, NFL.
2 years. Under. Easy.
Yeah, because I'll be honest, I don't even know how many games he could have even played in.
He had 283 yards in his NFL career.
Woof.
Oh, my Lord.
And 187 of them were in one season.
Oh, I thought you were going to say one game. I was like, so he has it. One game season.
Yeah.
He didn't even have 200 yards in a season.
He had 187 yards his rookie year. He had 6 yards the next year and 92 yards the year after that.
Doesn't that feel like, though, that's one of those positions, like Bears wide receiver, it's cursed. They had Brandon Marshall, who with the Broncos was fucking dominant. And they had Jay Cutler at the same time, their most dominant quarterback in their entire franchise history. And they can't do anything in that position.
Didn't they have didn't they have
Alshon
Jeffrey before he went to the Eagles? Or did he go to the Bears after the Eagles?
I think Jeffrey was before. I think he was with the Bears before the Eagles.
And he was just kind of you could tell he had potential with Chicago, but he really didn't do much till he went to Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Shocker. He got the fuck out of Chicago and all of a sudden he did well.
All right.
But Chicago's turning around. They've got a great throwing quarterback with Justin Fields, so things are going to be better.
Which now that scares me. Get the hell out of Chicago and have a good season. David Montgomery going off for the Lions this year.
My buddy Steven, who's a Lions fan, he insists that Montgomery is not going to do too well. And he says he's going to do fine, but he's not going to be the game changer. I think he might legit be the starter and the game changer there.
Swift?
Is it DeAndre Swift?
Swift had injury issues last year.
Yeah, he's injury prone. I mean, I think Montgomery's going to be the guy now that he has a chance.
If nothing else, they're going to be a freaking hell of a 1-2 punch.
Yep.
So my number 3 bust, Josh Rosen, the 2018 10th overall pick for the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know if you remember, but the Cardinals gave up their first, third, and 5th round pick to only jump up 5 spots to number 10 to draft him.
That boy talks so much shit in the NFL interviews. He's like, I don't care what anyone says. I'm out here to be the best in this class. I mean, over under 4 starts in his career. I mean, I couldn't
he
even tell you.
started like
Over the
13 games his
Wow.
rookie year, but then they immediately drafted Kyler Murray and kicked him to the curb.
Yeah. And look at how many of us judge him for that. We go, nope, that was the right decision, even though Kyler's Kyler.
Yeah. Josh Rosen has played since 2018. He was drafted in 2018.
Dolphins.
The Cardinals, Dolphins, Buccaneers,
Shit.
49ers, Falcons, Browns, Vikings.
Dear Lord,
Since
man.
18.
Woof.
Well, what do you got? So why are you saying he's a bust? He's on the Vikes. What if Kirk goes down?
You
He's
will
on
not
their
believe how many.
practice squad.
You wouldn't believe how many people, when we signed him to the practice squad, said, "Wow, he's going to probably be better than Kirk. Kirk's got to watch himself and actually be serious about it."
Yeah. Oh, there's always those idiots in the. I guarantee there's Chiefs fans that go, if Mahomes goes down though, Blaine Gabbert, he's more traditional style, and that will thrive in Andy Reid. It's like, shut the fuck up. Why would you even say that, man? I swear, some people are just like, they're so hell bent on tradition. It's like, if it's winning, who the fuck care? Like, it's like when Tebow had his unorthodox throwing motion in college. It's like, it doesn't matter how well he throws. The guy's winning with how he's doing it. So just leave it be.
The guy, for Kirk, the guy grills some steaks and tinfoil, and all of a sudden he's enemy number one.
That
doesn't he
that is a
deserve
little egregious
to be in the NFL now.
At least he's not putting
I would say it's
ketchup on those
egregious.
steaks.
God damn, yeah. I was just gonna say no Heinz on that steak, so I guess you're fine.
How can our two favorite quarterbacks be the worst two at barbecuing and grilling? And I think it's time to pick new teams, boys.
Hey,
yeah, fuck it. Let's just move on.
Mahomes has his own personal chef. He's not out there trying to grill anything. He just chooses to put ketchup on everything he consumes,
which makes it even worse.
I don't know about that.
Right now, Mahomes, as long as he puts ice on his ankle and gets that thing healthy, he can put ketchup on whatever, his walls, his dog. I don't care. Jackson, just let him be. Just get that ankle ready, man.
Brian,
I can just see him at home. Jackson, come on over here. I got some ketchup for you, buddy.
Yeah, you're about to earn I guarantee he gives him a salary to shut the fuck up, to be honest.
He has to.
One, I bet you it's pretty healthy, like 200,000. I'm taking care of my brother, but also shut up. And also, I know it's 2 a.m, but you come over here, I'm going to squirt some hunts on you. Just now get out of here. And he throws some hundreds at him.
He's not working at the Denny's down the street. We know that much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jackson and restaurants do not mix. So let's just avoid him going out at all costs.
Yeah, he's the one that needs the personal chef. Eat at home.
That's true.
Who you got number 2, Bryant?
So number 2, I kind of cheated on this one. I apologize, but I decided to go with an entire class, and that is the Oakland Raiders 2020 NFL draft. And I have a graphic that I'm trying. This is their draft class. It has Henry Ruggs, jail. They have Damon Annette, got kicked off the team for, I believe it was brandishing a gun on Instagram and stuff. Lynn Bowden, no longer on the team. Brian Edwards, no longer on the team. Tanner Muse, no longer on the team. And a lot of these, I'm sorry, I'll get to the last 2. John Simpson, no longer on the team. And then Amik Robertson, who is their 3rd string right cornerback right now. So,
nice.
Out of a draft class that is 3 years old now, they don't even have any of their picks other than a guy that maybe sees special teams. That is god awful. Now, some of those are poor circumstance, but that's just that's kind of background shit. And honestly, we talk about how Bears wide receivers just don't thrive there. Just put that any position for the Raiders that draft you do not thrive there. Derek Carr did his damnedest, and they kicked him out of town. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of Raiders busts, I think our next one here, Clark. No. I was thinking Ryan.
Incorrect,
Sorry.
Trent.
Yep. Sorry, I was looking ahead.
The gentleman on my list, Trent Richardson, the amazing running back to come out of Alabama in 2012 at number 3 overall. I believe he went to the Browns. had a good rookie season. Like, he was okay his rookie season. And then he couldn't get the ball beyond the line of scrimmage to save his life beyond that. And guess what? The Colts gave up a first-round pick to get him on their team, and he didn't do shit there. So it's the double whammy, you know? That's why I have him on my list. I wanted to get somebody besides quarterback. You'll get more of that in just a second. But, yeah, Trent Richardson's my number 2.
Wasn't he the one that had, like, awful field vision where there'd be, like, a camera angle from behind the line, huge hole over here, and he just, like, runs into the back of his lineman?
Yeah.
Yep.
It would be like a 5-yard gap and go, this play was tackled for loss. And it was just like him running towards it. And it just always amazed. Like, that was like, are like, because that was before Mark Ingram kind of found his own too. It's like, are Alabama running backs the new Ohio State quarterbacks at being bust in the draft?
It sure looked that way.
Yeah.
Sure did.
All right, Ryan. Now we can talk about Oakland again.
Yep, this one's for you, Brian. No, actually, it's for myself because it's LSU legend Jamarcus Russell, 2007 first round, number 1 pick overall. Has to be one of the biggest busts ever. Just the pure talent he had in college, and then just I don't know if he's just an idiot or just no work ethic, but yeah, just didn't really work too well in the NFL for him.
Work ethic. I was going to say that's my favorite story about him, is hearing the story about the coaches going, he's not watching film. They send him home with a blank DVD and go, how'd you like film? He goes, yeah, boss, I loved all those Bliss packages. And they're like, there's nothing on that tape. And he just...
He makes Kyler Murray look good.
Yeah, I mean, at least Kyler Murray, like, he's motivated to rank up in COD. Like, what was Jamarcus Russell doing? Did he just go home and eat and stare at a wall or something? I don't know.
He could throw the ball country mile, though, man. That was the thing whenever he came out in the draft.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, this dude's got a cannon. He can launch the ball.
If you draft somebody off arm strength, he's your guy.
Yep.
Wasn't Josh Freeman kind of the same way, too?
Yeah, I believe so.
Here's the thing. The one good thing Jamarcus Russell did for the league was show that throwing from your knees or sitting on your ass and throwing the football doesn't mean fucking shit in this league. Because it's like, he can throw it 50 yards. It's like, if he's on his ass, that's a sack, and it doesn't matter anymore. Now, does it? Same thing with the knee. So, like, whatever. I'm glad it was the Raiders so I could laugh at them some more.
So my number 2 was the number 1 overall pick in the 1987 NFL draft, Brian Bosworth. Don't know if the Boz. I don't know if you watched the ESPN 30 for 30. They did one on him called the Boz. Was an absolute stud in college and gets to the NFL. He only played 2 NFL seasons. I believe his career was cut short with a shoulder injury, but I mean, his best highlight was getting run over by Bo Jackson at the goal line and giving up a touchdown. So, yeah, bust 2 seasons, number 1 overall pick. Supposed to be the next great linebacker.
The next Brian Urlacher, they said.
Yeah, in 1987.
Yeah. Brian Urlacher wasn't even born that. Did you know when Brian Urlacher went and played football at New Mexico State, he was supposed to be a wide receiver?
Really?
Yeah, he signed out as a wide receiver, and then somehow he ended up being a middle linebacker.
I think he made the right choice.
Yeah.
Did you know that Ryan Tannehill was a wide receiver?
What?
Never heard that.
What the hell? When did that happen? Jeez Louise.
All right.
And
And
your little
Bryant,
fun fact for the day.
Yep. Bryant, your number 1 pick here again.
Yeah, to finalize, and you would think my number 1 overall bust for the Raiders would be Jamarcus Russell, but I'm an even bigger hater, and I'm going to choose Robert Gallery from Iowa, the number 2 overall pick in the 2004 draft, because fuck the Raiders, and I don't like Iowa. But and all kidding aside, it is a terrible pick because he was terrible at tackle. Like, I believe one year when he missed 3 games, he gave up the 3rd most sacks. So, I mean, he had a limited amount of time and still gave them all up. Once they did move him to guard, he was fine, but you don't pay left tackle money to have a guard. This is the reason why he's a bust in that draft. Here are the players drafted around him. Number 1, Eli Manning. Number 2, Robert Gallery. Number 3, Larry Fitzgerald. Number 4, Philip Rivers. Number 5, Sean Taylor. Number 6, Kellen Winslow II. Number 7, Roy Williams. Number 8, D'Angelo Hall. I mean, you could go on. Those are just the Ben Roethlisberger was in that first round. Jonathan Vilma, Will Smith, Vince Wilfork, Steven Jackson. These are just some of the well-known first rounders, and you could just go down that list. That draft had so much fucking top tier talent, and then Robert, who he looked stellar at Iowa, just could not put out for the Raiders.
I do believe you just named like an entire book of Hall of Famers who were drafted around this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Jared Allen.
And like I said, that's just the first round. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of players. Like, I mean, Bob Sanders was in that same draft. He was
Out
much
of
better.
Iowa.
Well, Bob Sanders, he was injury prone. If he wasn't injured, he would have been like up there. I think with like Troy Polamalu and all those other.
So yeah, he was still
safety.
a hell of a corner for the or safety, whatever he played for the Colts. I mean, dude was a stud.
Nate Kading was in that draft. He fucked up that Chargers playoff run that I laughed at. I thought that was kind of funny. Not only one of my hated rivals, but the kicker comes from a rival school. I mean, chef's kiss. Sorry, Danian. Oops, I went wide right. I mean, come on.
All right, Clark, who you got number 1?
I had as my number 1. Ryan's already used it. It was Jamarcus Russell. What's better than a number 1 overall pick being the laughing stock of the class? So I've called an audible here. And I've gone with somebody else who he was another Heisman winner, Johnny Manziel, drafted in 2014 at number 22 overall. He wasn't, he was later on in that first round, but still a first round pick taken as quarterback. He's won a Heisman. He's kind of controversial coming out of college. He was very outspoken, very, I'm going to give you all the bird and it's all about the money type on the sidelines. But, there's a lot of hope for him. However, he was one of those quarterbacks who went through the Browns organization. So he lasted, I think, a season. Did he make it 2? I don't even think he made it 2 seasons.
I think he started like 4 games or something like that.
Yeah, Wiki lists him being with Browns from 2014 to 2015, and then he was no longer in the NFL. So
Didn't he play in the fan voted league or something like that this year?
The FCF.
Yeah.
He was with the Zappers.
He also had a podcast with Barstool, so I mean things are going well for him.
I'm sure
there you go.
Yeah,
not quite NFL quarterback well, but
if there is ever a Hall of Fame for the size of people's noses, he would be first ballot. That guy had a fucking schnoz on him. I'm telling you what. His nose gets in the room 2 minutes before he does. Just insane.
All right. Ryan, who you got?
I'm going to go with someone that could be the mascot for the Minnesota Vikings franchise as a whole.
Is it a kicker?
No. No, he may as well have been, though. Troy Williamson, drafted 7th in 2005 for Minnesota. He was who we drafted to replace Randy Moss. Randy Moss got traded, and we're like, okay, we'll take the pick we got for him to replace him with Troy Williamson. Troy Williamson had Tyreek Hill type speed with the hands of stone. He just could not catch anything at all, and he blamed it on depth perception issues, which might have been an issue. That's very possible. However, that is the perfect Vikings pick right there. Take your number 7th on a wide receiver that can't even catch the ball.
Yeah, some say depth perception is very important in sports.
A little bit. You think that's something they might have tested prior to drafting him?
I'm gonna say, I mean, obviously he was able to perform well enough to get drafted in the NFL. So
it wasn't even that. I mean, so he had vision issues and hands of stone. I remember past that, it was going to be 75 yards wide open. He went by everybody. Comes in his hands, boink. I mean, just a perfect throw, and just nope, nothing.
You know who that reminds me of? It came up last year. I had to look up his name. Did you hear about the safety Tony Jefferson for the Ravens? Where he was just talking about like, man, it was always just so unclear. And I went to an optometrist and they gave me contacts. I could finally see. It's like this man's been living his whole life and got to the NFL on the sheer athletic ability of running and not knowing what's in front of him and seeing the football like a millisecond before it gets there and then catching it. The sucker couldn't see, and all of a sudden, and that's who. Oh, never mind. He's a safety. I was gonna say, and that's who Lamar Jackson was throwing to, but he was a safety. So
Jameis Winston though too can't see anything, so he goes 30 touchdowns, 30 picks, and then gets late sick.
Can't even tell who's on his team running around out there. Man, that's
Coach, I thought we were wearing red and black today. That's the Falcons, you moron. My bad.
And I had to go with my number one, Troy Davis, being an Iowa State fan. Yeah. He was the number 62 pick in the 1997 NFL draft to the New Orleans Saints. He's the only NCAA running back to rush for 2,000 yards in back-to-back seasons, was a Heisman finalist, should have won the Heisman. He was rushing for 2,000 yards on these teams that were going like 3-9.
Yeah, 5-7.
They weren't great.
Had to give it to Danny Werfel, though.
Yeah, they weren't great. I'm guessing the offensive lines weren't that good. Yeah. And he's still rushing for 2,000 yards in 10 games.
Yeah, but we were still playing Kansas back then, so I guess I could see that.
Yeah.
Is he the reason why no Iowa Staters ever go in the first round? Because they're like, we don't want Troy Davis here.
Him or his brother. His brother, Darren Davis, was the one that took over for at running back when Troy left and had a crazy career at Iowa State as well. And
dude, he did not have 2,000 yards a season, though.
Not that good. Yeah. But, the Wonderlic tests, their scores, not great. I think that was probably part of the reason why he fell to number 62. Mm-hmm. But then he had fumbling issues once he got to the NFL. He couldn't hold on to the ball. He had just as many fumbles as he did yards, probably. Not
Sorry,
good.
Coach. I'm just all thumbs today. And Troy, come on.
Yeah, he wasn't used to getting tackled in college. So,
I mean, is that another team in position that's cursed as Saints running backs? You have Troy Davis here. You have Ricky Williams, where they traded a whole draft, and he fucked around and didn't do anything. Reggie Bush. I mean, the list is starting to add up for the whole Saints.
Yeah, I mean, now they have Alvin Kamara. I mean, who's
now in legal trouble. I mean, it's
and all he does is catch the ball. He might as well be a receiver.
True.
So,
I'm surprised nobody put Ryan Leaf down.
I thought about him, but he's doing good now. Doing good for himself.
Yeah, that seems like a low blow.
No, he's clean, man. He's clean.
He just got arrested this last year.
He did?
I'm pretty positive.
Yeah, last I knew he was clean and doing well, and I don't know.
So this is a mind fuck here, and I had this one on my original list, and I didn't think it matched with the I guess quote unquote bust. But do you guys? This is going to be a blast. Amobi Okoye for Louisiana, or I'm sorry, for Louisville.
No.
So he was a bit of a bust because he played for several teams. He didn't pan out the way he should have with his original team, but he was drafted in with the 10th overall pick in 2007. And when he started college at Louisville, he was 15, 16 years old, played 4 seasons. He got drafted in 2007 as a 19-year-old. He's 35 right now. And he was a first-round pick for fucking 16 years ago, man. It's just that's one that always stuck out to me, and that was one early on when I was much younger, a child, a hot take where I thought this guy's going to be in the league for fucking 20 years, and he's going to be dominant because even if he has a down couple years, he's going to be he's going to be 24 in his first contract. He's going to get a second contract by 29. Even a third by. Guy just never panned out.
What position did he play?
Defensive tackle.
All right.
He was a bit smaller, but I mean he was like I guess more, I guess not smaller, stout, but like 6'2", 300. But when he was younger, he was super small and he could shift around on the line, and like he was probably what I would say like the Aaron Donald before Aaron Donald. He was just the smaller defensive tackle that could move around in there, and just never panned out. That was the one I thought for sure was going to.
He was just before his time.
Yeah. He got well. Here's the other thing: drafted by the Texans. So, I mean,
Yeah, there you go.
Rip his career.
Where'd you find Ryan?
He got arrested in 2020 for domestic battery and false imprisonment.
Yeah.
But
Is that maybe it's been since then that now that he's clean? I don't know.
Who, Ryan Leaf?
Yeah.
He turned over a new leaf.
Yep. Sure did.
well, I mean, COVID came through. He had to stay at home. So
Yeah, I didn't have a choice. All right, well, let's hop into the NFL draft. Like we were talking earlier, it starts Thursday with the first round. Second and third rounds Friday, and then Saturday will be the 4th through the 7th round. Let's see who's going number 1.
Bryce Young.
Yeah,
that's not your question.
I mean, the only thing you have against Bryce Young is his size. Literally everything else, he's been a proven winner. He has the Heisman. He's been an underdog, so he's got that fight in him. I mean, even that S2 test that everyone's been hyping up this week, I mean, he scored 98 out of 100. I don't care what that means, but like when you look at their website and it's talking about like instinct time and every category that quarterback needs, and he's a genius at that. I mean, I think the Texans would be stupid not to pick him.
Carolina.
Oh, Carolina's number 1.
Yep.
Well, again, I still hold to it. I think whoever's number 1 or whatever, you're going to be stupid if you pass on Bryce Young.
Is he like the only quarterback that's worth really going after?
What about the dude from Florida?
AR-15.
AR-15.
That was I knew the answer to that already.
He said he's going to be a future Hall of Famer. So,
all right.
No love for CJ Stroud. He scored a 12 on this test Bryant was just talking about.
The S2. What is this test? I don't know this one.
Supposedly this one's actually like way more legit than the Wonderlic.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, Wonderlic is just kind of like
intelligence, right?
It's intelligence, but it's also time. So there is some element of like critical thinking and fast time. But it's I've taken some Wonderlicks, like the bullshit test ones online.
I have too.
I mean, it's nothing football related, but it's like sort all the shapes by number of sides and you're in shit like that. But this S2 has been the more critical the last few years test. Like, who was one of the highest scoring ones last year was Brock Purdy. And he, before his injury was playing pretty well. He wasn't overthrowing 400 yards a game, but he was showing that critical instinctual being able to read a defense quickly, getting the ball out and doing what he needed to get the job done.
Game manager, you could say.
Game manager. Yeah, exactly. He did what he needed to in those situations. And it worries me when a guy that they have a test that, hey, but show us your decision making, and he scores a 12 out of 100. He probably would have scored 15 out of 100 if you would have told him, I'm not going to take this test because I'm not going to do well. It shows his awareness.
Hey, Brian, talking of that, do you recall who CJ Stroud said were his role models? That should have been an indication as to how he was going to score in this test.
When his decision making in front of a large crowd was to say, my role models are Deshaun Watson and Mike Vick, we all know what he's coming from on the football side of it. Bro, like, just say any other two names that haven't had all of the off-field issues and just, like, come on. That's the awareness that why he scored a 12. He's not thinking out there.
So I don't know how true this is, but I've heard that you get points for just writing your name on the Wonderlic test.
Is it the ACTs or something?
Yeah.
They're saying now worse. They're saying now he's not a bona fide top 5 pick at this point. So Joey might be getting his wish. He might be getting CJ Stroud.
All right. I mean, no offense, if you're the Falcons, I think it's kind of a Desmond or a Josh Rosen situation. You have Desmond Ridder. Why wouldn't you take the chance at CJ Stroud at that point? Unless you're committed to him and you have a very I'm trying to think of a player like Nolan Smith or Jalen Carter, hometown hero, won titles, a freak athlete. I'm trying to think of who even would go above CJ, like if both were available. But I think if CJ's there at 8, you take him.
Trent, how do you feel about the rumor of the Vikings going for number 2 for Levis?
No way. I think I said it in the group chat. No way in hell that I know. Okay, there's actually a pretty good chance. The Vikings seem to screw themselves in the draft every year. These rumors are true. It's probably going to happen. I take everything back that I just said.
You don't have any faith in the new administration there?
They're probably going to, it's history, dude. It's what's going to happen. They're going to, they probably, you know what? They'll go to number 2 and then they'll miss their pick.
Oops, forgot to submit it. Their internet's down. Their fax doesn't go through.
Yeah. The pager they're using from 1980 didn't beep.
You know, we haven't traded Dalvin. We haven't gotten any more picks for anything. Like we have no picks this year. So if we use draft capital to move up for number 2 on a QB that I don't know if anybody thinks he's a bona fide NFL talent. I don't know.
This is what the Vikings do every year. They screw the draft and they don't do anything in free agency. They're basically us during free agency. They just like sit back and watch, like, oh, I wonder who this player is going to go to. Meanwhile, we're just going to sit on ours that suck.
We got one good cornerback. That was what our free agency was.
Yep.
What's their GM been doing? He's new this year. Like this is his first draft, right? Or is this his second one?
This is the second one.
He's been ice fishing. Okay.
Oh,
First winter living in Minnesota. He's been on the ice. He's been sitting on walleyes.
This dude is like 6'7". He's at the YMCA playing basketball, bud.
Playing rec league, okay?
Have there been more talks about getting rid of Dalvin Cook or like what you can get draft capital for him?
Not really, but there's still like connections to Miami with him.
His agent thinks highly of him.
His agent thinks very highly of him.
He's a Hall of Fame caliber running back. He's got Hall of Fame numbers. Yeah,
well, he was the one.
Fumbles.
He was the one that posted on Instagram. Too bad his team doesn't know how to use him with a picture of Dalvin.
Yeah, my God.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to find like the prospect rankings or whatever on here. And the first Viking story says how all hell broke loose 20 years ago when the Vikings missed their first round pick. Jesus.
That's what I was getting at. They'll trade up to number 2 and not get their pick in.
I mean, I think this is a waste, but at 23, I've heard us taking Hendon Hooker, which I don't know if he's going to be. I would rather do that at 23 than have to give up a crap ton of capital to get.
Yeah,
I would be more okay with that. But the Vikings have 4 picks this draft. Like you better
we have 5 now because we got a 6th rounder or something.
But still, you better make them count, especially your first round pick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not just, we're going to reach for Hendon Hooker. Yeah.
We have so many holes on defense, but we're obviously we're not keeping Kirk after this year. It's very obvious we're moving on from him after this season. So it's either draft the QB and hope he can sit behind Kirk a year and be good, or Josh Rosen, come on up from the practice squad, bud.
If you have the choice, Hendon Hooker, quarterback, or Jordan Addison falls to you, who are you taking?
I honestly don't know anything about Jordan.
I don't either.
Wide receiver USC was Biliknikov, I think 2 years ago.
Sure. Put him out there with Justin Jefferson. He can take Adam Thielen's spot.
Yep. Okay. I've said this before. I think we should 4th or 5th pick Max Duggan. Have him learn NFL. He's got a good arm. Oh, he's got good vision. He can run. He can scramble. Just
you mean 4th or 5th round?
Mechanic. He's not going to go before the 4th, I don't think.
You know who you need to. You know who would be. Trent would cream his jeans. Take whoever you need for positioning in 1st round, 3rd round. Xavier Hutchinson.
Oh.
So there's a.
How good was he at Iowa State when every defense knew he's their only player.
Let me do a live replay of Hunter Decker's every snap last season.
Yeah,
Okay,
gets the
just
ball.
watching
Where's
him.
X? Where's X?
Oh
Okay.
my God.
So there's a guy on Twitter. His name is Rick Sosa. He's a big Vikings. I think he's more of a Kirk Cousins fan than he is a Vikings fan.
Mhm.
And I used to not understand why people hated this guy. I get it now. So last week he's on Twitter and he tries to pretend like he's a Vikings reporter and all this stuff. Like he's got these connections and all this. He doesn't, but he pretends he does.
Yeah.
And he started tweeting out that the Vikings have to draft a wide receiver because we have no real number 2 wide receivers behind Justin Jefferson after Thielen has gone and blah, blah, blah. And KJ Osborne tweets to him going, what were you saying about no number 2 receiver, no good receivers behind Justin Jefferson? And he just fucking tries to backtrack. Everyone's shitting on him.
Yeah.
Adam Thielen comments about how KJ is amazing. One of our cornerbacks comments about how this guy is basically a clown and blah, blah, blah. The Vikings tweet towards him, like just everyone piling on top of him.
Good.
And he's always trying to promote his podcast. Okay, if you feel this way, come on my podcast and talk about it. Our quarterback that commented goes, I would rather become a Packers fan before ever talking to you on your podcast.
Oh, I love it. I actually do love, like, in the NFL, it's in college, it happens all the time. It's like when your hated rival, all of a sudden you get drafted by the team and you just fucking despise them.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of, like, Hendon Hooker, again, how old's Kirk? Is he 35 or 36?
Yeah, he's 35, I think.
I mean, it wouldn't be the worst to have Hendon, not only just durability issues, but with his injury, you don't want him playing this next year. Just get him behind Kirk for a year, rehab that ACL. And before that ACL, he was a Heisman frontrunner, man. I mean, I think that's kind of a blessing in disguise if you can get him and have the backup in case either whatever Kirk regresses or kind of like the Chiefs with Alex Smith, you got to move on at some point. And if you got the solid athletic guy that's showing the promise, unfortunately, it's a business and get what you can out of the guy. He's made his nut in the NFL.
Yeah, let's say you guys know I'm a Kirk guy, but he's 34 now. He'll be 35 this next season when the season starts. How many QBs can play well after the age of 35? I mean, he hasn't had injuries, but
Tom Brady.
I can think of 2. And that's
Peyton
about
Manning.
Yeah, that's the list right there.
Aaron Rodgers. And then we're talking about 3 Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
We're talking about 3 Hall of Famers here. Kirk, I love Kirk, but we have to find our answer after this season. We really do.
Yeah. But like you said, you don't trade up for any of these quarterbacks, I think, in this draft. If Hendon falls you, I think that'd be, unless there's a more solid wide receiver or cornerback for you, I think you pull the trigger on him.
So
yeah,
I think
I don't know what the draft capital would be to go to 2, but it would be too stupid.
So the question was, will our teams make us happy during the draft? I think we know my opinion, and probably not. What about the Chiefs?
I'm going to be super pleased because in Veach, I trust.
Yep.
That guy could go out there and like fumble 6 picks and be like, oh my gosh. And I'd be like, he drafted Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. He's bought a couple drafts worth of lenience before I might get a little upset. But I mean, we've got 10 picks, so I guarantee we're going to be trading and moving around like we did last year with Trent McDuffie, who ended up being a huge contributor on the defense. We got 10 picks, it looks like. I mean, right now.
You guys have any other number 1s beside the 31st?
No, just the 31st.
Everything says Will McDonald to the Chiefs at 31.
That's my cream. First off, there's 2 reasons for that. One, I think Will McDonald is severely underrated. He's more wiry because he doesn't have the bulky frame, which I don't get where everyone's getting hard on about Lucas Van Ness, who couldn't even start his own fucking team in college, and you think you're going to draft him in the first round, and because of
got a Dutch name, he's good.
Yeah, I mean, sure, I get that, but if Will McDonald not only got drafted by the Chiefs, I think it would be a solid pick at 31. 2, it would not be a running back, which the people are thinking we're going to get Jeremy Gibbs for Alabama. I fucking hate that. But then 3, break this fucking Iowa State first round draft drought we've had. We are the longest Power 5 by like a country mile, man. It was, I think, 1978. The Houston Oilers drafted a player in the first round. It was so long ago. Houston Oilers lost their franchise, a new franchise. They moved the franchise to Nashville. They got renamed the Titans, and a new franchise came to Houston, named the Texans, and they've been there for 15 years. That's how long it's been since Iowa State's had a first rounder. It needs to be Will McDonald, or I might cry myself to sleep for a while. I don't know. Like,
you will buy a jersey right away, won't you?
I will, Chiefs. I will put more money in your pockets. $190 worth of jersey if you draft the kid. I mean,
Hey,
seriously, like,
do it.
The
Pull
last
the trigger, because I didn't on Brock Purdy, and then you couldn't get one.
Exactly. The last few years, man, like, seriously, like, we're just always like a day late and a dollar short. Like, just going through recent history, Alan Lazard is the prototypical, size of a number one wide receiver. Is he a number one? Probably not right now. But, for him to go completely undrafted, that's because of the name on the jersey. For Breece Hall to even fall to the second round with the stats that he had the last 2 years he had in college, and then now out of nowhere, Bijan Robinson, he's going to go top 8. It's like, Bryce was so much better than Bijan was the last 2 years. If you compare the last 2 years, and then again, it's second round for Breece because of Iowa State on the jersey, but Bijan, Texas, fucking, we got to draft this kid. So I think with Will McDonald, if he played for Notre Dame, it would be like, why are we not? He would have the potential hype that Lucas Van Ness has, and why are we not drafting this potential in the top 20 picks?
Totally agree. 100%.
By the way, he leads the Big 12 in career sacks. Number 2 is Von Miller, who got drafted second overall in his draft, but he only got more sacks.
He's been just okay.
Yeah,
just all right.
So
he's a journeyman.
Yeah,
that's all he is.
Had to get my rant out there. That's been in a whole month. We haven't done a podcast. It's just been boiling inside of me.
Glad we could pull that out of you, Bryant.
I tell you what, man.
You're gonna feel so good after this podcast. It's like taking a big old dump.
I'm gonna have to use a bidet after this pod. I'm getting all hot and bothered over here.
Yeah, still some stuff to work out. Oh, Rodgers finally quit holding teams hostage today. He's going to the Jets.
Yep.
The deal is done.
Yeah, he's a Jet.
Big time move. Who got the better end, Jets or Packers?
Packers, so they don't have to deal with him anymore.
Yeah, Packers. Packers got a decent haul, and they don't have to deal with him. That's the big thing.
Actually, the Jets, because they did get Alan Lazard with them, so I give it to the Jets now, just because of him, not because of Rodgers.
Like, the Packers moved up 2 spots in this round. They swapped first round picks.
Yep,
all right, so they moved from 15 to 13. They got the Jets' second round pick. I don't know what number it's going to be, and then they've got next year's second round. However, if Rodgers plays 65% or more of the snaps this year, then it's a first round pick. So
I would say the Packers definitely won this.
So we've known about this trade for a while, though. Did you guys see the reaction on ESPN?
No.
Okay, I'm going to share this with you.
You watch ESPN?
Yeah.
Talk about creaming in your jeans all podcast, and now you go to this.
You want to talk about creaming? Look at these faces for a draft. We knew the trade was going to happen. They said it 3 weeks ago, and they're, whoa! How did the? This is the most manufactured bullshit I've ever seen in my life. Mina Kimes is slipping in her seat here. Dan Orlovsky looks like he got goosed. I mean, I cannot believe like all these people are making these faces like they didn't see that Aaron Rodgers was going to be like traded.
Yeah, this has been news for a month.
And Adam Schefter broke news. I know it's supposed to be a cool moment. It would look so cringe to me, dude.
It is. Why is it a cool moment? Like, Aaron Rodgers is on the down. He's on the back 9 right now of his career. It's not like somebody in their prime going to make somebody a Super Bowl contender. Like, it's like you said, it's so manufactured.
Back 9 shit. I thought he was putting out on 18.
Yeah. He's at Augusta right now, playing in the first group off the tee on Sunday, actually Friday, to miss the cut right now. That's what he's putting out on 18.
So did they change the odds for them to win the Super Bowl a lot today?
I don't know.
I'm sure it moved maybe
Did it go down?
points, but not too much. You know what the crazy thing is? Is how long it took for the Jets and the Packers to come up with this trade. They still got it done faster than Patrick Cantley teeing off. Amazing. He's still on hole 13 in Augusta.
Jets are now sixth favorite to win the Super Bowl.
How many
right behind the other 5 AFC teams?
Chiefs, Bills, Bengals, Eagles, 49ers, then Jets.
Nice.
And another witch has moved to New York.
And another witch. Honestly, I'm so happy for you guys, though. Get him out of the division. Let someone else win it for once, you know?
Why?
We won it this year.
We won it this year, Jack.
Well, win it a second time then. You know what I'm saying?
I still have my bet slip. I need to take to Larchwood and cash out on that.
Yeah, but now watch Jordan Love becomes the 3rd Hall of Fame quarterback in a row.
Right.
Probably.
They need this is like when the Colts went from Peyton Manning to Andrew Luck, and they're finally going through their due. So I'm gonna lay off the hate a little bit, but like you go from a Hall of Famer to one bad year and immediately get if he wouldn't have retired another Hall of Famer. Fuck you guys. Like I mean, the Packers haven't known what bad quarterback play is until maybe this last year of Aaron Rodgers, and that 1 year when it was like Seneca, Scott Tolzien. You know, the 1 year, and I think they still snuck into the playoffs or barely missed. Like it's like you need to have a couple seasons to humble yourself. That's where I know people are mad about current Chiefs fans, but we suffered through like 40 years of just shit before we finally got to the mountaintop. You know?
Here's gonna be my favorite thing. Packers will draft a wide receiver 1st round this year. Piss Aaron off. Aaron will actually show up to preseason training and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 1990 is when the Packers drafted. Well, when Brett Favre was drafted, he didn't go to the Packers right away.
Mm-hmm.
But they've literally had Hall of Fame quarterbacks as their quarterback for 30.
I'm 32 years old and I was born in 1990. They've always had a Hall of Fame quarterback on their roster, other than when I was like first born, because he was drafted by the Falcons.
And then he was traded there. After his first year or something. So, since let's just say 91, 92.
I wonder if Joey looks at Brett Favre and says the one that got away.
I'll be curious this year because a lot of Packers fans put a lot of blame on LaFleur being a terrible coach. So I'll be curious to see if Rodgers kept LaFleur afloat or if he's actually a good coach. I'm really hoping it was not that LaFleur is a good coach.
LaFleur. Sorry, I thought you were talking about the Jets. I'll be honest, they could finish 3rd in that division and still make the playoffs, and I think they'd have a good year for the Jets.
Yeah, they could in that division too.
The thing is, I mean, I know the Packers were never going to trade Rodgers to an NFC team, but man, you go from the NFC who has 2 great teams to the AFC that's completely stacked for your last couple seasons of your career. I mean, he'll probably it's actually inevitable that he'll end up in Minnesota next year, so he'll be back. But
I was just gonna say, like,
he's gonna be Brett Favre all over again. Packers to the Jets to Minnesota.
He'll send some dick pics to a witch,
and
then he'll get traded to the Vikings.
So the Vikings aren't going to draft a quarterback this year. They're going to stick with Cousins, and then they're going to get Rodgers next year.
And then we'll draft the next Christian Ponder.
Oh, God.
And that's Vikings talk.
Right.
Everyone that just deflated the whole room saying Christian Ponder, thinking about that draft where everyone was like, yeah, it might have been a flash in the pan, but he looked so good for Florida State that year. Like when you're most known for how hot your wife is, that's not good when you're an NFL quarterback. That means no one's talking about how well you play fucking ball at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar Jackson, is he still begging for money, or is he on a team yet?
we won't know anything until after the draft. Everyone's got to figure out their cap space situation.
Yeah.
Which I'm trying to think of. Like I've heard like the rumors of teams. Like if you're the Texans, why wouldn't you try and go all out and try and get him? I mean, you got Davis Mills. Yeah, you could try and get Bryce Young. What's that?
They don't want a running back.
Why? Yeah, I was gonna say, how did I become the logical one with Lamar Jackson now? I mean, yeah, it is so weird, but yeah, we won't know anything until it'll either be a first round trade on Thursday because they gotta make a spectacle of it, or they'll wait until the entire draft's done. There's no way he gets traded day 3.
What's funny is, he wanted all this guaranteed, blah, 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 or this huge contract, and the Jalen Hurts one happens, and everyone's like, see, Jalen got paid. Why didn't Baltimore do something like this? Well, it turns out Baltimore gave him a better offer. Everyone was crapping on Baltimore, saying you can't, you got to take care of your players. You're a terrible organization. And now everyone's like, oh, okay, maybe Lamar should probably have an agent.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is going to be a good, lesson. I guess depends if he pulls through and gets what he wants on the money and everything. I think they might. I just think in that type of situation, we've seen now where they're going to be brutally honest with you with what they think, and they're going to lowball you, and that's any business. And I just don't know if the business acumen and being able to objectively look at yourself and look at these it's. I think the whole thing just reeks of everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. Look at if you compare. I guess you really can't compare the situations, but you had Joe Flacco, who bet on himself, and then he won a Super Bowl. He went through that entire playoffs where it's just he had a solid defense to get him through it as well, like the Ravens do. But what Joe Flacco also did? He passed for 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and he won 4 games because of offense as well. And then you look at Lamar in the last couple of years where it's I'm going to prove myself. This is my year where I'm going to show what it's about. And he's had back-to-back injuries. You could say the same thing about Kirk too. Whether you think Kirk's overpaid or underpaid, he's available. The best ability is availability. And Kirk is always there, and just Lamar isn't. And that's what's holding him back.
And that's still the crazy thing to me was, there's always rumors he could be back and playing for the playoffs this last year. And he never even showed up to the team. Nobody knew what happened. I haven't heard anything about his injury since.
Mm-hmm.
And should we go back to the AFC West now? Broncos country. Let's ride.
Let's
into
ride
a bunker.
Into the sand. Yeah.
Are we flipping golf carts here in these bunkers?
Yeah, him and Johnny Knoxville are out there flipping carts. I'm Russell Wilson. Welcome to Jackass.
How many Sunny D vodka seltzers did Russell Wilson have?
Russell Wilson was drinking Nooners and vodka seltzers. And
you think he has just Team 3 jogging beside him like it's the presidential limo, and he does something like that, and then Team 3 is just like, oh crap, we got to get him flipped over. Boss is
they
down.
all stand around him, like Secret Service, so you can't see the situation, what's going on. He had a pretty funny response to it, and it pissed me off because man, I just want to hate Russell Wilson because he's such a goober, but he, that was one of those. I think he's slowly realizing you can't be super serious Jesus freak all the time. Let me see here.
It's because we're on to him. He is freaking hammered on that golf course doing that.
Yeah, the real question is, how did we get that far from the bunker to the green? #par. Laughing emoji, laughing emoji, laughing emoji, golf emoji, good times, ! Squinty eye laughing emoji. Thank you, Russ Wilson. Just know he's feeling dangerous.
That was pretty dangerous. I would assume.
When you're a grown man using that many emojis, that's probably the most dangerous thing he's done. More than playing football and risking CTE is using that many damn emojis.
More dangerous than eating a danger witch?
That wasn't dangerous at all.
That man can use as many emojis as he can because he is Mr. Unlimited.
Mr. Unlimited.
So Bryant showed the ESPN graphic, or not graphic, screenshot of everybody shocked with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Did ESPN lead with this in a Sports Center? This story of
No,
Russell
this happened to be live while they're doing NFL Live. How did that happen?
Wow. Yeah.
It happened to be not during a commercial break too. I mean, no.
Wait,
Good.
yeah.
ESPN
We're gonna
that.
cut into Russell Wilson's just afternoon 4-ball match with his buddies at the local Muni, and it like cuts to him. He's like rolling his golf cart. Like, whoa.
Hey,
What's
Mina.
the-
Hey,
what are the
Mina
chances?
Kimes, look at this golf cart rolling. Here's dangerous. I mean, come on.
So I'm curious, why was Shefty the one who break this news? Because wasn't Shefty the one that Rodgers told him to lose my number?
Yeah.
I was wondering the same thing, actually.
Shefty's got his sources. Okay.
Yep.
Inside Aaron's camp. Yeah, Schefter knows. He knows a few Wiccans. Don't you worry.
Total darkness.
He traded him a couple roots of sage or some shit, and he got the inside scoop.
The Witcher.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think all the herbs on the Witcher you can trade.
Where's Katrina? Get Katrina down here.
Speaking of,
I think Clark's the resident Witcher.
Oh man, it's been a while. I'm gonna have to.
That's
do
like
you know who Henry Cavill's a fan of? Speaking of The Witcher,
Russell Wilson.
no, Henry Cavill, The Witcher.
Yeah, he's a fan of Russell Wilson.
No, he's a fan of the Chiefs because Superman's from Kansas.
Oh,
yeah. I'm trying to think. I would say that I saw a video of like all the fans, and like that one didn't make sense because I was like, why the fuck would some guy from Britain? That'd be like me going like, my favorite team is Man City. It's like, who the fuck? Like, why you and I would give a shit about soccer? But it's because Superman's from Kansas. So suck on that, Dangerous.
we're at in Kansas.
Smallville.
But Metropolis.
No, he's from Smallville, Kansas.
Not a real town.
Yes, actually it is.
Where I didn't know that.
Pull out your Google Maps.
Jeez.
What if, like, for copyright infringement, they couldn't use Smallville? So it's like, this is Ultraman's tiny town. This is definitely not copyrighted.
They had to. They have to change the name of the town because of copyright issues.
Yeah, exactly. Minuscule city. Come on down.
Smallville. It is.
Is it pretty small?
There's not a town. It's Smallville
No.
Comics, gaming, and more.
Got Smallville carpet cleaning in South Hutchinson.
Smallville Athletics.
Damn it! No, it's
Clark Kent was a
Plainville.
pretty good
Plainville.
carpet
Plainville.
cleaner back in his day.
Say the comic place is in Hutch. You go over there, Clark.
Is this what this is evolved to? Sports talk to looking up comic book stores in Kansas?
It's in Hutchinson. You could, while you're in Hutchinson, you could go over to Prairie Dunes and watch the Big 12 championships being played.
That's far enough west. He could be a Broncos fan instead of a Chiefs fan.
Yeah,
he wants to watch winners. So
I had to deal with enough Broncos fans in Western Missouri, let alone over here. So
that seems like a very strange place for Broncos fans.
Let's ride.
Tell me about it.
He said Superman has all this strength in the world, yet he still couldn't break those fucking buck teeth of John Elway. God, that horse tooth motherfucker. I hate him so much. Seriously, man. Every time you think his teeth couldn't be that big, just Google a picture of him smiling and you're amazed every time. It's like a jump scare. Oh, jeez.
They're getting bigger, isn't it? Like a beaver. If they don't actually chew on wood, their teeth like continuously grow throughout their whole life.
Yeah, like
so they have to chew on wood to like grind them off.
Yeah.
All right.
That's exactly what it is. All his fucking teeth have different zip codes too. God.
Yeah. So you learned something today on Pulse of the Heartland Funcast.
Is he just a car dealership now? He's not actually anything with the Broncos anymore, is he?
If you want to look at like how, because everyone's like, he was such a genius bringing in Peyton Manning. You know, first off, wow, he brought in a Hall of Famer. Who could have thought that would have worked out? You know?
Hey, how would you not think about that?
That dipshit that was getting paid under the table by that organization chose, instead of getting ownership in the team that's now worth like $1.6 billion, that he would have been able to, he took like $4 million on the table. Like, he is the biggest fucking moron. And you're like, but he went to Stanford. He's got to be smart. He's not. He's completely average, and I could show you stats for it too.
He did not go there for academics.
He didn't go here to play school. He came here to play football.
Yes.
And the band, wasn't he on the team that the band was on the field?
I don't know.
Hey, Bryant, check your Twitter messages.
Is that a real GIF, or is that over dramatic?
Oh, no.
Do I want to see this?
I kind of do. Let's see here. Great audio, by the way, as we're all trying to load this fucking. Oh my god, those teeth are gigantic, man! I'm telling you. Oh. I have to zoom out.
All right. Well, I think that's a good point to wrap this podcast up.
Yeah. Anyone else want to get one last John Elway terrible, ugly quote in before we wrap it up? No? Okay.
I think we're good. We can do this. We'll continue on next Monday. We'll lead the podcast with John Elway talk next Monday, so you have that to look forward to. Thanks for sticking with us. We do appreciate everybody listening and following along here. But again, we'll probably do a podcast next Monday with the draft recap and explaining why all of our draft picks will be Hall of Famers.
There you go.
Yeah, so jump into those DMs and let us know what you think and give us your opinions on the draft. We'll see how they differ from ours, because ours are correct.
The Vikings get an F. We're already grading it.
Yeah, F. I hope they surprise us. D- would be okay.
Ink hasn't even dried on their contract. F. These guys are gonna fucking fail.
Okay. Sorry, not to extend this, but remember last year, this was the first draft for Kwesi and KOC. And the first thing we do is trade into our division to help Detroit and Green Bay get better draft picks.
Multiple times.
Multiple times. So that's where we're at.
God.
Anything above that, you're golden, man.
Yeah. Missing draft picks is better than that right now.
Hell yeah, man.
So, all right. Well, hit them with them socials again, Bryant.
Instagram, Twitter, Twitch at Heartland Pulse, Facebook, YouTube at Pulse of the Heartland.
All right. Thanks for watching and hanging with us. We'll see you next week.
Peace.